These batteries are better than lithium iron phosphate batteries. I've been using these batteries for over 10 years and I bought them as used batteries. Now the one thing you're looking for your batteries is for them to last for as long can be, and that's exactly what these batteries have given to me, and that's why I can confidently say that they are as good as lithium iron phosphate batteries. And as a matter of fact, the earlier versions of lithium iron phosphate batteries, these batteries will outperform them any day, anytime. Now you know why. So I'll be coming back to talk about these batteries, to let you know what I do with them and every other thing that I can tell you about them, how it's connected and everything. But before that, let's talk about other things. This is my solar array and it is a 7.5 kilowatt solar array. What that means is that the rating of all my panels, when you sum it up, you're going to get 7,500 watts. But it doesn't end there. That doesn't mean that when the sun is shining, I'm just going to be getting that 7.5 kilowatt all the time. That is not what it means. It means that that is the highest I can get at one time. And unfortunately, I have not gotten that kind of power from these solar panels. Maybe it's because they are used panels, but I don't necessarily think so, because I also have access to new panels and some of them are new here. But I've not seen 100% from my solar panels. But I've also watched videos where they tell me that they get, or where I see it myself, I don't know whether the tests are correct, where I see over 100% of the capacity of the solar panels. I don't know about that. One of the things that people usually ask me concerning my solar panels is that when your batteries are fully charged, is there a way the excess power can be used constructively? Oh yes. And on this channel, we're going to be looking at ways that you can maximize the power of your solar panels, ways you can use to get the excess power off of your solar panels. That's one of the things you want to look out for on this channel. So it is very, very possible, and I do that. There are also questions of using broken panels, and I have broken panels, but they're not here, but I use them in a particular place. And of course, in future, I'm also going to be showing you how you can use broken panels, that is if they still have life in them. So I have about 2 hanging around, and these are the panels. So these ones are broken panels. They don't deliver anything at all. These are things we're going to be looking at in future, and of course ways that you can fix, not necessarily fix a broken panel, but ways that you can help it to last longer, because once the panel is broken, the possibility of the element getting into it, and maybe moisture and the rest, and even water getting through to it, that's what's going to kill it at the end of the day. If you can reduce or stop it altogether, you're going to add to the life of the broken panel. So we'll be talking about that in future. Then of course, buying a used panel versus buying new ones, which one is the way to go? So we'll be talking more about all this in future. Now, one of the things that I also realized that we are not talking much about, the charge controller is the least talked about of all the components, at least in my part. Not too long ago, I went to a client's place, and what I found out was very surprising. The batteries were not working properly, so I was trying to investigate. I haven't done all the checks and everything. I realized that the charge controller was programmed wrongly. I don't know how that happened, maybe whether it's from the manufacturers or anything. So it's one of the things you want to check. You want to check the battery you have versus the programming that your charge controller has, because if you are depending entirely on your solar system as your solar panels, then you want to be sure that your charge controller is delivering the right amount of power, voltage and everything. These are things we're also going to look at in future. Once I programmed it correctly, the batteries that were not taking enough charge, they were not taking good charge, and everything is working properly. Now you can easily lose your batteries because they're not getting good enough charge, because they're always on that low charge, which is not good for your batteries. So it's important to know that. People also talk about which charge controller should I use. Should I use the PWM or should I use the MPPT charge controller? So in future, we're going to compare and let us know when to get the MPPT and when to get the PWM charge controller. Talking about inverters, a lot of people don't know that the bigger your inverter is, especially if you are living in an off-grid situation, the more problems of sort you are forming for yourself. Just to give you a heads up, because I'm not going to explain everything here, I'll just touch on it a little. If I have, for instance, and I'm going to show you in future, if I have a 1 kVA inverter, for instance, by my own estimation, 1 kVA consumes about 15 watts. So in 24 hours, as long as that inverter is on, it's going to drain, and you are going to be using up about 360 watt-hour in a 24 hours period. That means you need some amount of your solar panels to service just your inverter without anything being connected to it, as long as it is on. Now, the other experiment I did some time ago, my 2.5 kVA was drawing 40 watts from my system, 45 watts, something like that. So when I totaled what is going to be drained from my battery in a whole day, it turned out to be about 960 watt-hour. You want to be careful, or you want to make sure you size your inverter appropriately, because a good amount of the power you are getting from your solar panels is going to use to power your inverter. So that's one of the things you want to watch out for. I'll demonstrate it in future videos. If I'm looking back at the other options I could have had, a lot of devices have come up now: washing machines, freezers, televisions, every gadget you can think of now. They now have a DC format of all of them. One other thing is, one way to avoid using an inverter would be to go for DC gadgets. And the more I look at it, the more it makes all the sense in the world. There's a point I'll get to now. Maybe I need to get a bigger inverter. But when you are using DC systems, you do not really need to get a bigger charge controller. There's a way to go about it. At the end of the day, you will be able to just be increasing the capacity of your gadget without buying more charge controllers. Those are things we are going to be looking at in this channel. The reason why I'm saying this is that if you have not really started buying gadgets, you are thinking of going off grid and everything, you may want to consider getting DC appliances so that you don't really need an inverter to power them. You could have a small inverter for some things that are inevitable, like maybe your blender that doesn't have a DC. That means you just put on your inverter to run some of those devices, and when you are done, you put it off. That is one of the things to consider. So in future, we are going to be looking at such things, because I have a DC freezer and a few DC appliances. So we're going to be looking at them and compare them with their AC counterparts and see how they operate. So in general, there are going to be a lot of things that we'll be talking about in this channel. Let's get back to the batteries. Like I said earlier, that I was going to get back to. These batteries are 2 volts, 1000 amp hour. So they're about 70 some kg. If you look at the way the batteries are, I have not taken my time to really arrange them the way I want to, because I always need help whenever I'm dealing with these batteries. So that's one of the disadvantages, in quote, when you're comparing them with your lithium iron phosphate battery, because to move them around is not easy. And they come in different units, unlike your lithium that comes with fewer units or maybe just one single unit. So these are things that's where the differences are. Then I mentioned that there are 2 volts, so that means we need about 6 of these ones at least to make a 12 volts connection. That means 6 times 2 will give you 12 volts. So the minimum voltage you can get from an inverter is 12 volts. You can only use 6 of this minimum. You cannot use 1, 2, or 3. You have to use 6. Then you can also use 12. You can use 18. You can use 24. So in this case now, you are seeing 18. I have a 36 volts inverter. That's how I'm using the system right now. Those are some of the disadvantages when you're comparing it with lithium iron phosphate battery. But if you're looking at where it really matters the most, longevity, we're looking at both of them. They go head to head. I know lithium ion, people talk about it has so many cycles, but the truth is I don't know presently. So if you know somebody who has used this lithium ion for more than 10 years, I would like to know in the comment section below, because I don't know anybody, or maybe it's not common in these parts to know somebody who has used their lithium for more than 10 years. So I'm looking forward to knowing people who have used them for more than 10 years, because this one, like I said, I bought it as used batteries and I've used them for about 10 years right now. So I don't even know how long it has been used before, but I know that altogether the warranty of this kind of batteries is about 10 years. And usually the lifespan of batteries for somewhere around that double the time of the warranty. That's the lifespan of batteries. Is something to note. As for what I use the system to do, I use it to do everything. Depending on the season I'm in, I use it to cook, and I also use it to press my clothes, to pump water in my tank, and my power tools. However, you don't want to connect too many things to your inverter, because you need to watch your inverter. If you connect too many things, you can blow up your inverter. That's one of the things to watch out for. And also, if you are using too many things, as anybody that uses solar would have found out, you will run down your batteries, regardless of how big your battery bank is. If you just connect things needlessly and you don't calculate very well, you run down your batteries. So that's it about these batteries. These batteries, I don't know why they're not being talked about. They do practically everything that the lithium ion battery does, except for the size and the space that they consume. So I don't want to talk too much. In future videos, depending on your comments and everything, I want this channel to be a channel that serves your questions, not like answering your questions in words, but answering them in videos, like showing you how it works and everything. So that's what my aim for this channel. So go to the comment section below, let me know what you want to see. Do you want to start a solar setup? You are looking for the smallest size, just a small battery, other methods you can use to start. On this channel, we're going to be looking at different kind of, maybe even a portable solar system, solar generator and everything, how to set it up and everything. So I'm going to be doing the bit I can here, so that it will help people to know that you don't have to depend on the grid 100%. You can actually get to power things yourself, regardless of whether there's grid power or there's no grid power. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel. And if there's anything you feel like maybe it's not correct, or you have an opinion that is different from mine, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below. See you.